welcome to episode 113 of Lesbian Talk.
We actually looked up which one it was. And we're like, it's episode 100. You know how it is.
I apologize for bag noises.
We live out of carrier bags. Because there's a up to 5 to 15p charge on plastic bags. Carrier bags are really popular. And so we just end up with 5 million of them in the house, and I feel like they're taking.
We don't collect them because they cost money. It's more we have these more permanent bags, and we end up getting several of them. We have a load of them flying around, so we don't
literally flying around the farm. No, it's more like my father-in-law just keeps giving them to us. So we have more than we have more carrier bags than we could probably pack all of our belongings up into folded carrier bags because we have that many folded up in a huge carrier bag. So there's a carrier bag near home.
Yes.
But anyway, how have you been? How's your week been?
What are we discussing?
Everything. We watched, actually, just about 20 minutes ago, we finished up watching the
Less than 20, more like 10.
Okay. The latest episode of Doctor Who. It feels weird. I've actually forgotten. It's been over a year now?
No, I saw the Return of Dr. Mysterio after Christmas, but
I heard it was crappy, so.
I watched it while I was editing something.
What'd you think of it?
I thought it was better than I expected it to be. It felt a little bit similar to that one because he had Nardole running around being basically the Doctor's butler.
Yeah, see, I can't see him without seeing Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Well, that happens. That's what happens with Matt Lucas.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because, I'm sure he's, a nice guy and a really great actor, but even though I've seen his character previously, since seeing the second Wonderland movie, yeah. I keep expecting him to, start spouting nonsense or something and then walk into a wall.
It's Matt Lucas. He usually does.
Yeah.
This one was better than I expected.
I thought it was really good.
It is most definitely not worthy of being toddy-hooed. Definitely.
Well, that's good.
However, it does have problems.
Whoa, what problems were there?
Well, for one thing, you have Bill has a thing for this girl with the chips, and then she immediately drops that and has a thing for the girl with the star in her eye. They only have 45 minutes. Narratively, it makes far more sense for her to unite those two characters.
Well, I think that, first of all, time has been passing.
Yeah,
so it's obviously been several months. Well, you can crush on more than one person at a time. The first person that I dated, they were a serial crusher. And basically, they're like, I have a crush on someone else now. Are you sad? And I was like, no, it's grand.
I know that it's possible in real life for that. However, when you go 45 minutes of storytelling, it is bad use of your time to introduce a separate person for the person to crush on when you've just established one. It is just
but you can crush on more than one people at once.
You can,
and I just think that's part of the character.
It's just inefficient storytelling.
I think if it was a guy, in the role, then people would just be like, oh, well, he.
I would still think it was inefficient storytelling. With this one, I got the feeling that they didn't think that they would be able to have sort of romantic-ish, crushy drama scariness with a fat girl instead of a thin girl. That's what I think happened. They went for a route that is narratively less efficient.
I have a feeling that the Chip Girl was a throwaway. It was just a dialogue thing.
Well,
a character created wholesale just as an incidental.
I got the feeling that if the Chip Girl, if the butt of the joke of the Chip Girl was not that she was fat, that she would have been united with the girl with the star in the eye. I got the feeling they just could not conceive of having a big girl in that role, and so therefore they split the character. They split what would have been one character into two.
I think that you're reading. First of all, I think you're reading too much into things, and second of all, I don't see how it's narratively inappropriate to imply that you have someone who's crushing on two different people.
It's not narratively inappropriate. It's narratively. It's not inappropriate. It's an inefficient use of the time.
You're saying it's not parsimonious.
I'm unfamiliar with the exact definition of the word parsimonious.
Parsimony is like simplicity.
Okay. Well, if it was classic Who, you could have had multiple characters for that because you have the time. With this one, you had 45 minutes.
I don't think it was inefficient. It also establishes there's more than one a few people in this.
Plus, it would have given you a little bit of depth to Bill's thing with the Star Girl if we know that she'd seen her multiple times over months and
we have they're in the same class.
In this one, no. She first notices her partway through the episode, and then we see her a couple other times. With the Chip Girl, she had a thing for her for literally months. Possibly a year, which would have given the whole thing much more depth than just having her. I got this thing for this girl. Oh no, now I'm with this girl who's far more classically attractive, and now she's a monster.
I think you're reading too much into it, quite honestly.
And I think that the casting people, or the writers, or the producer, or someone decided that you couldn't have had.
I don't think that Chip Girl. I don't think Chip Girl was meant to be an actual role. I think it was just a throwaway that was then backed up later on in the episode. I think they were really reading too much into it.
Well, the other possibility is that it was always supposed to be Stargirl, and then they decided they created the role of Chip Girl later on.
Yeah, I mean,
and it became and just as a joke.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Like, she finds, oh look, the girl she's attracted to is now fat. Lol, fat girls are funny. Either way.
Well, she's still. First of all, the actress playing that was not all that fat.
Yes, but in the context of things.
Second of all, like she still winked at her. Like. So they're still like, I mean,
yeah, it's.
I just think you're trying too hard to be offended.
No, I'm always trying too hard to be offended by Doctor Who.
Do you know what happened today?
Oh dear.
Okay, so I was at the till with my supervisor. He's a real nice guy, but he's a denizen of the internet, and so we had a really long transaction with this little wee girl's grandmother. Because she was buying lottery tickets for other people, so they had to be separate transactions, and so like the girl, she had a balloon and she was noodling around, and then so he finished, the woman got a lottery ticket. She's like, oh, have a great day. She's like, oh, bye. And the little girl looked up and she goes, thank you, and then ran away. And I was like, I think to myself, oh, that's so cute. And then you hear the wee girl say to her grandmother as they're going out the shop past newspapers, I said thank you just there, and I said to him, you know what that was just now? And he goes, that was virtue signaling. Because she was like, look, I said thank you. I did the good thing.
You give me sweets for saying thank you.
No, I just thought that was really funny. I was like, you know what that was? What? Now that was virtue signaling. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so I just thought of that today.
So, we're obviously not going to go on the same page with this issue. My other issue is... Well, the Movellans. It was lovely seeing the Movellans. It was so nice just for a couple of shots. However,
the people being blown up by the Daleks.
Yeah, the sort of
spoilers. There were Daleks because
the disco guys. However, okay, they're meant to be androgynous glam rock disco warriors, but the guys who directed this clearly did not watch the original story with them because they had them like screaming and running out like they were battling the Daleks as though they were humans. The Movellans are emotionless robots. The entire point of their story, Destiny of the Daleks with the Daleks, was that neither of them could outthink the other because they both used hyper-intelligent, logical battle computers. And so they could not win against each other. Movellans were fucking Vulcan robots.
Maybe they were filming a music video.
So it made no sense that they were screaming and reacting like people. Other issue... Why does a species that can create fuel which can turn a person into like sort of liquid that can fly across space and time in seconds require a spaceship?
I was wondering about if it could have left Earth at any time. Why did it need Heather?
Yeah, this Moffat came up with a concept and didn't give a shit about the how it actually played in the real world, how it interacts with the real world. It's like, I got this cool idea. It plays sort of horror-ish.
Or maybe those things are a slave race, that whatever ship it came from had enslaved them.
Yeah, and why do they need spaceships if they can create that? Why
the race that had the spaceship was different than the sentient oil race. It enslaved the sentient oil race, and the oil race was trapped in its ship, and then it got accidentally left behind. And it's like, oh no, I don't know what to do because
if your slave race is able to go back to travel through time, they're not going to be a slave race for very long.
Because maybe they were contained in a specific way by this other race.
I think you're being way too kind to Stephen Moffat. I think he just came up with a concept.
No, I'm saying that I find explanations for why things are possible, because it's science fiction. Maybe they were held in some kind of special radiation chamber or something. I don't know. But I was wondering, who was talking, or it was just kind of weird because it made it sound like there were people talking to like a collective, and it just confused me.
Of course, maybe they could have had it that the entire ships were liquid, and that puddle was all that was left of one of the ships. Mm-hmm. However, the scorch marks kind of fucked that up because these things did not need scorch marks to travel.
Like, maybe they had to, oh no, entering the atmosphere.
Yeah, but the scorch marks leaving, getting up.
No, because they could have been, like, alright, so you know when something enters, like, breaks orbit, and enters the atmosphere, it quote-unquote burns up, it becomes superheated. What if those were just the little sprinks of the, like, little, like, legs of the ship, and they would be, if it came down like that, they would make scorch marks from that, because they were superheated.
When she went to different planets, she didn't do that.
Yes, because the ship wasn't there.
No, I was saying that
the scorch mark was from the ship.
I was saying you did not need scorch marks if they could have had it that the entire puddle was itself the ship, but they put the scorch marks there, so that doesn't make sense. That would have been a far more sensible way out.
No, I'm saying that the scorch marks were what happened when the superheated legs of the spaceship, which had been superheated from coming through our atmosphere, touched down onto the tarmac.
Yes, I know that's what happened in the context. I was trying to come up with a saving rule for them for the fact.
Yeah, so then it wasn't
the puddle's so ridiculous.
So then it wasn't like burners or anything. Like I'm saying, the puddle was not meant to be in its own thing. I don't think.
Yeah, the puddle was not meant to be. However, it would have made more sense if it was.
Okay, that's grand. So I liked the episode. Did you enjoy the episode?
Yeah, it was a much better episode than I expected. It was decent. The fact that I can find problems with it does not indicate that I hated the episode. The fact that I'm not spending 45 minutes ranting about it right now, standing up and throwing things around and screaming my head off, that indicates that I must have liked it on some level.
I thought it was nice. I mean, I wish they would have said what university it was. But...
Bristol.
Oh, okay. I missed that part then.
There was a sign.
I didn't see the sign. No, first of all, I'm not wearing my glasses. So I mean, I thought it was good. Like I said, it's been really weird not having Doctor Who around. And you're like, oh, that's right. It's a thing in our lives. I don't know how that spin-off class is doing.
Oh, it did terribly.
Really? Okay.
It got bad reviews and it got bad ratings, and there's even questions about whether it's going to come back or not.
Good. I mean, not good, because Patrick Ness is the writer for it, and he's a very respected children's and young adult author.
He's done very well in The Family Ness.
What you thought? No, yeah, I know he's written a lot of really great books, and like he really has the cred for it. But we got like 3 titles in because they were trying to make it, because there are 3 young adult novels, like teen novels about class. Like they're trying to make it a thing, and I'm like, you're not the Vampire Diaries. Stop trying to make it a thing.
Well, I still haven't seen it. I'm going to watch it at some point, but the idea of a spin-off setting Coal Hill did not excite me one bit.
Yeah, especially because the Doctor's not involved.
It's in the pilot.
Yeah, but I don't care about teens. I mean, sorry, teen listeners. Like, I care about you, obviously, but, like, I don't know. I'm past the age where I'm at the point where I don't want to read, a brilliant coming-of-age book because I've come of age. And even as nice fantasy and sci-fi as you get in young adult, a lot of it just revolves around, like, being the special one or, like, getting the girl/guy, and I'm just like...
Well, I enjoy well-written children's TV and stuff like that. Like, The Surgeon Adventures was very well done. It's probably the best Doctor Who spin-off that we had.
Yeah, but that was a kid's thing. They weren't trying to make it a young adult kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's still it's that sort of... No,
but that's what I mean. I was like, kids media, whatever, kids media, but like teen media, I'm just like... Ugh.
So I will watch it at some point. It's the idea of it being Coal Hill just annoys me. Possibly because they had characters in Coal Hill, and they still not brought back William Russell. Like, fuck you for that.
Oh, that's true. He could be like the...
He's the head of he's the head of the school council, sort of the board. He's not the headmaster, but he's Ian Chesterton is like on the plaque at Coal Hill. So he worked there. I mean, the character does. They could have brought...
No one mentions when he took that several year sabbatical.
Because if you don't know, Ian Chesterton was one of the original humans that the Doctor picked up in the Unearthly Child, the pilot, the original Doctor Who episode, along with Barbara Wright, and they were on the TARDIS for like 3 years. And Chesterton, the woman who played Barbara Wright, she died in the 80s, but the guy who played Chesterton still going, and he appeared. He last appeared in acting in live action in An Adventure in Space and Time, where he played like a doorman at the BBC who was ranting about stuff.
Aww.
So he's still going, and he even, in Big Finish, has occasionally turned up playing the First Doctor.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I could find no fault with this. It doesn't seem to suffer yet this season from that over-emotional kind of bullshit that has plagued Doctor Who.
Over-emotional bullshit? I have to disagree with you there. The girl she had a couple of interactions with, and then there was suddenly swelling orchestral music and water going round and like, oh, stay with me forever.
No, like between the Doctor and companions.
Oh yes, Capaldi has been very, very firm that he was not going to have any romantic interests as he's the Doctor.
That's good.
Because he's old school. He understands the character of the Doctor.
I mean, even though like him and Clara didn't, I don't know. I never really caught into her. I never really liked Clara.
The
girl who lied.
Clara's thing, basically, within like a season of Clara, they'd worked out, her entire point was the mystery thing, and then they kept trying to think of shit for her to do, because Jenna Louise Coleman did not want to move on, and season 9 really suffered because she didn't die in the Christmas special before season 9 when she was supposed to, one with the dream crabs.
Yeah.
She was meant to die there.
Good.
And then she decided to come back for season 9. It's like, Jesus Christ. How much better would season 9 have been if it wasn't fucking Clara?
Well, it would have been... the whole thing would have been completely different.
Yes, which would have been... Because, have you seen season 9? That would be a good thing.
Yeah, I know, but, like, it might be good, but it might be bad.
Season 9 was already bad. I'll take the chance.
Yeah, fair enough. But, yeah, no, I never liked Clara. I was just stop. I like Bill a lot better. She seems a lot like, Rose, but not annoying.
Yeah. Rose crossed with Donna.
Yeah. So I give her a thumbs up. I like the fact that she was gay, basically not used as like a joke or a foil. It just was pretty much a non-issue. So that made me pretty happy. That's
an improvement over the characterization of Madame Vastra. And
Shut up! I like Vastra and Jenny. I think they're great.
Dead.
I would literally, if BBC or whoever their book arm was like, we're gonna write a series of just their lesbian space adventures, I'd be like, I am down. I am down for lesbian Victorian space adventures.
Well, I'll tell you what.
In mystery.
Ever since the creation of Madame Vastra and Jenny, I have felt every single episode of New Who set in the modern day has gone up 1 star since then, because I can watch them safe in the knowledge that they've died.
They could be somewhere else, though.
Died of old age or frozen or something. It's like, yes. I can just think there. This episode is shit. Aliens of London is shit, but Vastra's dead.
Shut up. I think they're good. I like them. I would definitely watch, like a spinoff that was just their adventures with Drax.
They're cartoons. They existed only for a cunnilingus joke. Strax is a cartoon as well. Everything after his first appearance was a cartoon. Nardole's a cartoon as well. That's his main problem. The idea of the Doctor having a butler is actually perfectly good in keeping with the Doctor's character, because the guy is an aristocrat. Mm-hmm. The Doctor is basically a rich aristocrat who slums it, knowing full well that he can escape any time, which doesn't play well to his character. I mean, it doesn't show very nice things off about his character, but it's part of his character. And the fact that he is basically a personal slave, personal valet, whatever, entirely in keeping with his character.
No, I've been fine with that, I liked how, he seems to, he had been, he'd been traveling for a bit, so he knew the thing, and he was like, well, there's a human, should I get rid of her? No,
Yeah. Well, it's also partly because my issue is partly because it's Matt Lucas' film. I'm not a fan.
What race is he supposed to be?
I can't remember, but he was in the Wedding of River Song and had his head torn off. He's got a robot body. Yeah. My mind's gone blank. There was something else I have completely forgotten because my mind is stupid. I've forgotten what I was going to say. Quick, say words.
I like how she's like, yeah, apparently according to the Uni's office, you've been lecturing here for 70 years. And he's like, oh, of course you would say that's impossible. She's like, yeah, kind of is.
Yeah, so do you know what that's a reference to?
Psychic paper.
No.
I'm using the psychic paper to be like, I've always worked here. Oh, yeah, so you have. No, what is it?
No, it's a reference to Professor Chronotis from Shada.
Oh.
Shada being the unfinished story from Tom Baker's era that was going to cap off Douglas Adams' era as head writer. and it was set at University of Cambridge, and the Doctor had a Time Lord friend who had retired to Cambridge about 200 years earlier and had been a professor for 200 odd years, who no one had ever... They just gave him this office and they didn't really care, and it's just like, yeah, he's been there for as long as we can remember. Shrug.
You know how it goes.
Of course, then it turns out he's actually an escaped Time Lord criminal.
It's all very Pratchett-esque. I can see there being, like, rooms in the Unseen University where there's wizards have been there for millennia.
Yeah. And then Douglas Adams borrowed the ideas again for some of his other books, because Shada sort of is... It has a weird position in Doctor Who continuity, because there's the original story as done, only half finished, then there's versions of it where Tom Baker's explaining what happened between the bits they have, because they have all the location stuff but none of the set stuff. Then you've got the animated one where they got an animated reconstruction of Fourth Doctor, and then you've got the Eighth Doctor in an animated one, remembering he forgot to do something, collecting Romana, and basically doing the adventure again. You got a novel version which includes one of the Clara shards in it.
Oh.
Replace the character with Clara. So it's Shada both didn't happen and happened in all these different ways.
Nah. But no, I thought it was really good, and I'm looking forward to see what this season has to offer. Although I heard this morning on Twitter, but I didn't bother to track down the actual source, so it could just be bullshit. I'm saying that there's a very, very good chance that the next Doctor will be a woman. I don't know if that's an actual thing. I mean...
Yeah, I saw the thing about Michaela something. I don't actually know the actor. But she'd be a far more interesting choice than Chris Marshall, who was the other one who's heavily mooted. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Why? What's he been in? What would I know him from?
You wouldn't know him from anything, I don't think.
That one advert.
He was in adverts in the mid-2000s, yeah.
Okay.
He's basically slightly hapless, middle-class English guy.
Oh. So basically kind of like Davidson?
Yeah, whenever he was first mooted, I was thinking of him, basically he'd be Davidson 2.0. Or 3.0, really, because McGann was Davidson 2.0. But then McGann got better. But, yeah, Chris Marshall was in, like, Death in Paradise and stuff. But, of course, the BBC will go for him rather than her, because he's headlined more shows, and they could force him into a Tennant-esque peg. They could ram him in there, make him be all Tennant-esque. Haha! Well, she is much more unknown quantity and much more risky. And I think they'll go for him.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Makes me sad.
When are they going to announce it?
Well, if at some point in the next couple of months, allegedly, because allegedly the Doctor regenerates at the end of the season.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And, there's footage of him regenerating in the trailer.
Yeah.
So, hopefully at some point in the next couple of months. Unless they regenerate him and we don't actually see what he turned into.
Capaldi got 3 seasons, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope he's happy with that.
Capaldi's being very gracious about, saying like, oh, it felt like time to move on and things like that. And I ain't believing it for a second.
Yeah, with the serious kind of fan that he is.
If in 20 or 30 years he's still saying that, okay, fine. But I am waiting for at some point in the far future when he reveals what really happened. Because I got the feeling that he was contracted for 3 seasons, because that's usual for a new Doctor. And then the BBC did not want to pay him, did not want him to come back. So they were probably lowballing him to make him quit or something. Because they probably blame Capaldi for the loss in ratings, when it's far more reasonable to blame the fact that Moffat's still in charge, still doing his shtick and bullshit. People got tired of it. So, I got the feeling that he didn't want to go, but he's either forced out or he has been asked to quit, something like that.
That would suck.
Yeah, Capaldi is basically New Who's version of Colin Baker, which actually fits. Think about this. David Tennant is basically the Tom Baker because he lasted the longest. Actually, 3 seasons plus specials, and he's the one that he is the classic New Who Doctor. Matt Smith replaced him, was almost as popular, very, very different. Lasted, 3 years as well, did very well. Then replaced with a much more challenging incarnation, Capaldi, Colin Baker, who got terrible scripts and is possibly forced out. The next one if this continues, the next Doctor's the last one before it gets shut down.
So it'll be a new Sylvester McCoy.
If, but the very nature of this sort of argument I'm making is you could make anything fit, really. You could make the argument that Capaldi is any Doctor, just if you pick the right facts.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I'm interested to see where they go. I like that Missy is back, and...
Master. I don't know a lot.
She identifies as Missy.
I don't give a fuck.
Well, I mean...
Missy, short for mistress, because Moffat has this ridiculous idea that the Master should change their name just because they're
yeah, but each incarnation of the Master is different, just though each incarnation of the Doctor is different. Like, if that's what she wants her name to be, she's the Master after all.
By that same logic, the Doctor would have to change his name to something ridiculous. Like matron. The nurse. The midwife.
That'd be great. Oh, I'm just the midwife, dear. Do a crossover with Call the Midwife.
I really hope that John Sim yells at Michelle Gomez for not using his name.
No, he's too wimpy. They have to get like Derek Jacobi to come and be like, both of you stop it. But no, I liked it. So what else is going on? It feels weird not being able to slag it off. So we're seeing Guardians of the Galaxy next week.
Challenge me, just channel me, honey. You can slag off Doctor Who. It's very easy.
No, I don't want to. I liked the episode. I thought it was good. Maybe you want chips though. But no. So we're gonna actually the Brunswick Movie Bowl near us is doing a double bill for Guardians of the Galaxy next week.
Yeah. So 27th.
So I've got the night off work, and yeah.
We have to book tickets for that though. Hopefully they're not sold out.
Oh, we should probably do that after we record the show. But yes, I think that'll be really good. I'm really excited. The trailer looks really good.
I think the trailer looks fine. My only problem is, it looks popping, vibrant. They're filming it on a new camera for Marvel. It looks beautiful. I really hope this shows an upswing in how Marvel treats color in film, because they do seem to be pretty great. However, I get the feeling that the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 trailer it feels a bit smug.
What do you mean smug?
It's like, here's Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and we know how good we are. It's just like, yeah, you love us.
Well, isn't that what Marvel's been saying for the past several years?
Yeah, but it's never come across as smug. I'm looking forward to Guardians 2. I fully expect to think it's wonderful. It's just the trailer comes across as a bit smug. I don't know.
If I was Marvel, I'd be shoving DC's face in it too.
Well, Thor Ragnarok's trailer looks spectacular.
Oh, it looks really good, yeah.
Like, if you compare it to Star Wars Episode 8's trailer. Star Wars Episode 8's trailer is crap. It's like, here's some ponderous voiceover. Here's a really nice shot with guys going over a dust planet. Here's, like, Luke saying, oh no, the Jedi must end. It's basically Star Wars Episode 8 does not need to sell itself.
It's a teaser trailer.
So is Ragnarok.
Oh, okay.
It does not need to sell itself, so it doesn't give a shit. So it's just like, yeah, here I am. You'll come and see me anyway. So he's not. It's like the person who knows they're really attractive, so they've turned up to the ball naked and unwashed because they know everyone wants to have sex with them anyway.
Ew.
While Thor Ragnarok,
I would never have sex with somebody that was unwashed.
Well, Thor Ragnarok, I liked Thor and Thor Dark World, but they are generally seen as the poor cousins of the MCU who get sequels. Basically, it's no Captain America, it's no Iron Man. It's we'll watch it till the Avengers happens. Even though I like them, that's generally how they're viewed. Thor Ragnarok is like, it has a lot to prove. It's got a lot to show, because it's like, okay, we're gonna be spectacular. It's
in space.
It's making all the effort it can possibly do to try and get the goodwill, because it needs to. Well, Star Wars doesn't give a shit because it doesn't need to give a shit.
That's true. Well, it is Star Wars after all.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the second Doctor Strange movie. Oh, it's probably not even been planned yet.
Probably been planned.
Yeah, but it's not like in...
Marvel's planned stuff until 2030.
Seriously?
Tentatively, yeah.
Wow. Marvel never stop making money. Fair enough. If it provides a good product,
Yeah, they finished filming Black Panther. And
as long as your man will actually act in this. He just kind of seemed like he was in Civil War under duress. I'm going to be in this movie, but you cannot make me act or just stand here being angry.
I was looking in the middle distance.
Like, he was great.
It's epic.
As weird as it is to say, he was great in Gods of Egypt, where he was like, finally, I can act, and me act all over the place. But here he's like, I would be in a new movie, but I will not act. You cannot.
I'm going to hang out with villainous Andy Serkis.
Yeah, he just like seemed like he was just angry about having to be in the movie, like.
Well, his dad just died.
Yeah, I know. I just kind of like, oh, that guy did. And then we saw Gods of Egypt, like, that guy was pretty funny. That was Black Panther. What? But he was acting.
But I know that they finished filming. I know that they're either in filming or they're just about to start filming for Ant-Man 2.
No.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I'm not going to go see it.
Just because there's a wasp in it?
Because they'll all show wasps in it.
Possibly.
I don't want to see them. Why would someone be a superhero called the Wasp? She must
Someone
be...
ask Stan Lee.
She must be a villain.
Her. Stan Lee created her.
Well, he wasn't thinking of like the wee little wasps of the Isles. He was thinking of big honking American wasps.
Ask Stan Lee.
I'm not going to go see it with you. I will fall down on the ground triggered and roll around.
I will go to see it. I liked Ant-Man.
Don't want a wasp.
And Captain Marvel is... It's not nearly in production yet. However, people have seen pictures of her costume.
I know, people have been going nuclear about it on Twitter. I don't care, because I don't know anything about her or what she does. Like, I'll probably go see it, but like, you know.
She's a test pilot who received a bunch of powers that Rogue stole then later on. And so she could fly and was super strong and invulnerable. And she operates in space.
Is she an Avenger too?
Was she in the comics? Yes, and she will be.
Okay.
In the comics originally, she got crazy powers. Rogue stole them and put her into a coma, and that's how Rogue ended up with her powers. She held on too long. So Rogue developed mental problems because she had two personalities in her, and then because she was evil when that happened, and then she ended up turning good because Professor Xavier was helping her through her basically dissociative personality disorder. Then Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, she then woke up. She was Miss Marvel back then. She woke up, and then she became the superhero called Binary, which was like binary stars and used flame and space powers. And then
she could only turn left or right. In intersections, she couldn't go straight through.
And then she became Captain Marvel. Marvel always has a Captain Marvel because DC had a character called Captain Marvel who yelled Shazam. And then,
seriously?
Yes, Shazam.
Shazam!
They originated that term.
I don't care. You can't say it any other way than that.
He dresses like a Vegas version Elvis.
That's so stupid.
Because Elvis based his look on one of the Marvel family, the DC character. But then they forgot to trademark it, and Marvel grabbed the trademark. And ever since then, Marvel has had a character called Captain Marvel in production, so they can keep the trademark.
So stupid. That's not stupid, I guess.
So that's why the DC character, Captain Marvel, is in a comic called Shazam. And that's why there's been this Captain Marvel. There has been Monica Rambeau, I believe is the pronunciation. She was the leader of the Avengers. She's in Next Wave. She's awesome. There was Captain Marvel, who was a member of the Kree. No, he was a Kree who came to Earth to enslave it and decided to become a superhero and be nice instead.
I find it weird there's like an evil alien race called the Kree, just like the Native American tribe, the Kree, and I'm like, oh, that
starts with a K.
Problematic. Yeah, but still.
Anyway, the Kree were the blue guys from Guardians of the Galaxy.
I remember who they are.
So, but Marvel was the first Captain Marvel in the Marvel Universe.
Captain Marvel, the gay one?
No, just Marvel was his real name, and then he became Captain Marvel, and then he died of cancer.
Well, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, it was one of the watershed moments of the 80s Marvel comics, is this A-list Marvel superhero. It turns out he got cancer, and the things that gave him his powers, these bands on his wrists, they stopped them from... They stopped... Oh, no, they didn't give him the cancer, something else did, but they made it impossible for them to cure his cancer.
Oh, okay.
And so there was this huge dramatic thing, and in the end, the personification of death took him into the afterlife and everything.
Don't worry, sure it'll be grand.
Personification of death is a female in Marvel. She
Maybe she had a cold that day, I don't know.
She dates Thanos.
That's silly. It is.
There's a reason Thanos likes killing everything. It's because he's in love with death.
Does she reciprocate?
Yeah. Yeah, generally.
You think she'd be like, you know what? You can pretty much stop killing everything for me, because...
I think she had a thing with Deadpool for a while. But at one point, Thanos was actually cursed with immortality so that he could never actually be with her. But in the MCU, all of the signs point to Hela, Kate Blanchett in Ragnarok, is going to be their version of Death. They're going to mix Lady Death and Hela in one character and make it so she teams up with Thanos. At least that's what I'm expecting.
Meh.
You'll love it later on.
I get confused. There's so much going on right now. Like, there's 15 new Netflix series, and everyone's like, have you seen The Thing? And I'm like, no.
It's not 15. There's 2 new Netflix Marvel shows coming. There's Defenders and Punisher.
And then, like, someone else, and there's that Cloak and Dagger one.
That's not Netflix. It looks like a Netflix show, but it's not. It's on Freeform.
Well, what's Freeform?
I have no idea, but they're making Cloak and Dagger. Maybe it's a web series. I don't know.
It's just, I don't know. There's just too much going on right now, I feel like.
It's wonderful.
I guess. But see, the thing is, now it's starting to be, like, the people that I've never heard of and whose powers are really stupid.
To be fair, most Marvel characters you'd never heard of.
Yeah, but, like, these are really obscure.
Iron Man was very obscure.
Lewis heard of it.
Iron Man was very obscure. Most people, until the film came out, most people who were not big into comics thought Iron Man was a robot.
I knew Iron Man wasn't a robot.
Well, you were not most people. I mean, like, Guardians of the Galaxy was very obscure. That was a comic that lasted for a while in the 60s and 70s and then occasionally came back and forth, but was never a big thing until the film happened.
I don't know. I'm not a comic book nerd. That's not my flavor.
And they're filming Avengers 3 right now.
Yay.
There has been shots of Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Star-Lord together.
I hate Spider-Man.
You love Spider-Man.
I don't. Shut up, Peter. No one asked you. Maybe it's more that I don't like teens and embarrassment humor thing. I just shut up, Peter.
Omega secretly loves Spider-Man.
No, I don't, because it's just like, high school was a long time ago, and so it's like, oh look, we get to see Spider-Man. I don't care.
Well, I'm looking forward to that because basically it's being treated like a John Hughes movie, which is genius for a Spider-Man film.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably go see it because you'll make me, but, you know, how it is.
Because the genius thing that Marvel has done, at least to a certain extent back in Phase 1, but really, really strongly now, is that they're uniting their characters with genres that fit. So it's harder to get fatigued with them because they're slightly different genres. Like the 3 Captain America films. The first one is basically a Rocketeer-esque World War II adventure film, which makes sense because it's Joe Johnston directing it. The second one being the thriller, and the third one being Civil War. Like, they all feel different, and Spider-Man's been married up with a John Hughes-style teen movie, and that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I guess, but I just don't like teen
Like, Doctor Strange was like...
Doctor Strange was amazing.
Trippy magic shit crossed with some kung fu tropes.
Awesome. I can't wait for the second one to come out.
It'll be a lot of fun.
It will be a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the first one.
I'm looking forward to Black Panther and Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel mostly, I think, even more than Avengers. Black Panther or Captain Marvel, because they're characters that they're not sequels and they're not just team-ups. So I'm always looking forward to the one that is the most disconnected from what we've seen before. Like, I remember when I was looking forward to Ant-Man more than Age of Ultron because Ant-Man was completely unknown quantity. And then Doctor Strange was the one I was looking forward to most since after Ant-Man because, again, complete unknown quantity. Black Panther looks more interesting than Captain Marvel because it's set in a hyper-technologically advanced nation of Wakanda in Africa. So we're getting a completely sort of African film, which is going to be really, really cool. But we've seen Black Panther before. We've seen Ulysses Claw before. Captain Marvel, completely unknown quantity.
Well, I don't understand why Captain Marvel got a movie and we've never gotten a Black Widow movie. Because we like Black Widow more than we like Captain Marvel, who no one's ever heard of.
Well, comics fans have heard of Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I know, but, like, I don't care. Everything should cater to me personally.
Originally, Captain Marvel was going to turn up in Avengers, too. It got so
Who's
late.
that? Is she with you?
Not a million miles away from what was going to happen. You know, at the end when they were revealing the new Avengers at the very end?
Yeah.
Originally, there was going to be just a shot of Captain Marvel flying in and joining them. I have no explanation of who she is.
Sorry I was late, guys. There's traffic on the bridge.
They got so far in with this idea that actually they filmed like the background plates of that they're going to digitally add to her flying in, and then they used those plates, but they added Scarlet Witch there instead. So we nearly got Captain Marvel in Age of Ultron in the same way that we almost got Ant-Man in Avengers 1. The first draft had Ant-Man and Wasp in it. But Edgar Wright was like, dude, I'm still working on the Ant-Man project. Please remove them. And Joss Whedon's like, God damn it, they're my favorite characters. I love writing for the Wasp. I'm not just joking there. Joss Whedon said the Wasp was his favorite character, and he was really, really sad that he couldn't put her into Avengers because of Edgar Wright. I maintain the entire problem between Marvel and Edgar Wright is Edgar Wright's fault.
Okay. But we really could have had a Black Widow movie with her, like, skulking around, being, like, a super spy before she was an Avenger. Just saying. Lots of Cold War shenanigans.
Honestly, well, she's way too young for that. She was born in, like, 1984. So it would have been...
I mean, yeah, but so she was raised up at the training school during the Cold War, because the Cold War didn't really end until, like, 89 or 90.
Yeah, she would have been 6 when it ended. So
yeah, but no, but then she, like, you know, they would have shown her, like, being trained up under that ethos. And still
she's working for Yeltsin.
Yeltsin.
Honestly, I'd prefer Black Widow or Hawkeye.
She could be a mercenary and stuff. I don't know, I'd want to see, or like, I mean, or like a buddy movie, like, showing, like, her and Hawkeye, like, getting into scrapes and, like, stuff like that.
Honestly, I'd prefer, like, an expensive miniseries for those two. Doing some sort of a period piece, espionage thing where one of them is a villain and one of them's hero, and then they team up by the end.
Okay, yeah, that'd be good. But isn't, like, apparently Jeremy Reiner's, like, not down for that or something?
I have no idea.
I remember hearing something bad about him, but I couldn't remember what.
I have no idea.
But, yeah, so a good time to be going to the theater or have streaming media.
Marvel!
I said.
Because there's so many things. We got all those things we've mentioned. Plus there's the Inhumans series, which is, they got fucking Lockjaw in it. The 6-foot-tall giant bulldog teleporting dog. We're getting Cloak and Dagger.
Whatever happened to... Well, that looks really silly. That looks like, you know, brought to you by the CW kind of thing.
Cloak and Dagger?
Yeah.
I think it looks like a Netflix show. One of the Netflix Marvel shows. We're getting Runaways.
What about the one where it was Professor X's child in another continuity, and he's in an asylum or something?
Oh, Legion. I've been watching that while I've been editing.
I didn't know. Is it alright? Or...
Legion is very hard to follow if you're not paying attention to it, because I've been splitting my attention with my editing. However, it looks glorious.
Is it one of those haha superpowers are really mental illness kind of thing? Because I really don't like that narrative.
No, it's much more. They got levels of people's sort of psychology and things. You're seeing reality not being quite right because the main character apart from being really, really powerful mutant, he also does have schizophrenia. So you're seeing things that aren't quite right a lot of the time trying to work out. Plus he's got a second personality of the Shadow King inside his subconscious, and he's trying to take over his body. So
it's kind of like Marvel's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
A little bit, but it looks amazing. I've never seen a show that looked as good as that, looks as cinematic as that, because it looks like a weird 80s, 60s, 70s, 90s period piece. It looks like the everything is hyper stylized down to the directing choices, the costuming. They got really weird stuff. Imagine One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, directed by the guy who did Being John Malkovich and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, with mutants.
Okay. I don't think I can imagine that, but I'm willing to try.
Okay. Well, there's that. That's in the Fox thing. We got The New Warriors, which I'm looking forward to, and I really fucking hope they make it a reality show. A fake reality show. Look up the show Death Valley for an example of how I think this should be done. Half-hour, teenage superheroes going off and doing stuff and giving like 2 camera interviews about what they're doing and sort of playing up for the cameras and being dickheads. This would be amazing. So
basically YouTube?
No, more like imagine the Keeping Up with the Kardashians type thing, but it's not entirely scripted, and it involves fighting crime.
Yeah, that sounds alright.
That would be amazing. That one's gonna star Squirrel Girl.
Yeah, everyone's losing their goddamn minds over Squirrel Girl.
Apparently Night Thrasher's in that one too. Night Thrasher.
I don't know.
Was
it
basically...
just seems to be like the kind. I don't know.
Night Thrasher was basically.
I have unpopular opinions.
You don't like Squirrel Girl?
No, it's not that I don't like Squirrel Girl. It's just that, like, I don't know. Squirrel Girl seems to be one of those characters that, I don't know, I don't know how to say this without sounding really, really offensive, but that people want to freak out about because now it's cool to freak out about and have been so into her the whole time, and I'm like, I don't think that you were. Like, I know that people are already writing in the comment section, but I'm different, Omega, because I'm like, I'm not saying you, it's just, I don't know, it just seems like one of those things that it's become hot because of the internet. I don't know.
I think Squirrel Girl became... I remember when Squirrel Girl first appeared.
I get a very kind of like pumpkin spice latte thing going on, and I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I remember when Squirrel Girl first appeared. She was basically a silly joke side character. However, then one of the writers took the frankly genius approach of making her inexplicably defeat supervillains. Never on screen properly. Like, defeat Doctor Doom and Thanos and everything. Never explain how she does it. And just make that a recurring joke. That this character who was entirely useless somehow became powerful, and that's where her popularity came from. So she's basically
Marvel's Tom Bombadil.
A little bit, yeah.
Please, Squirrel Girl, you take the One Ring. No, do not ask me, for I cannot. I don't know, and I'm not saying that people who are not actually a fan of Squirrel... I don't know, it's just... Some of the people that I see, like, you know, ranting and raving, like, online, I don't know.
Squirrel Girl is one of the characters...
It's like one of those, like, oh, of course you have to like Squirrel Girl because, I don't know.
Squirrel Girl is one of the characters that Marvel has the rights to, that they can put in the MCU, who could essentially be the MCU's Deadpool. The other one is She-Hulk.
Isn't She-Hulk a lawyer?
Yep, She-Hulk is a lawyer.
That'd be pretty cool.
I would love to see tongue-in-cheek Ally McBeal-esque lawyer show set in the MCU with She-Hulk played by Laverne Cox.
It would be like Harvey Birdman, attorney at law, but like serious.
Yeah, you could get. I'm not saying make it serious. What I think is make it
not serious, but like, you know, obviously Harvey Birdman, attorney at law was like one of those, you know, cracked out. Only watch it on Cartoon Network when it's like 3 a.m. and you've come home totally wrecked from a party and you're just like, what the fuck? How did you get that thing I sent you? Hi, said it again.
You could get other MCU actors to cameo as characters like, I don't know, Thor's hammer hit a guy's car and it's way to smashing something, and so he has to, you know, he's being sued for damages. You know, just silly things like that. Maybe a recurring person that she has to take on in the courtroom is Daredevil. Maybe don't set it in the actual MCU, but make it a parody of the MCU, and it could be a thing of beauty. Similarly, I'd love to see...
Or if she was, like, one of the assistant DAs in, like, Marvel parody universe Law & Order. Dun, dun.
Yeah. Similarly, I'd love to see a film version of Next Wave, where you've got... Next Wave was, like, a parody of the Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff like that, and one of them was the old Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau. You had the Captain, who was given powers by aliens to protect his world, but he was drunk at the time and thought they were just like these little dwarf people he'd imagined, and so he killed them with his new powers. It's got like a parody of Buffy.
What an asshole.
He was a drunken idiot who they gave powers to randomly, thinking he would be a good protector for the Earth.
This is why you take caution with your origin stories.
And then, well, he's a parody of the superhero origin.
Oh.
The Chosen One type one, it's a parody of that. Then you've got Elisa Bloodstone, who's a parody of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but she's English. And occasionally she would wear like an EU t-shirt and say, do you think this stands for America? And things like that, as a parody of Captain America, pointing at his head and saying, do you think this A stands for France to someone? Basically, it's used the opportunity to parody the fuck out of everything. It's got Robot Man, who's this guy who's a robot and who is just...
A man?
Yes.
Some say he was a robot man. But he was still a dragon. I was
Machine Man. Aaron Stack. And then you've got Boom Boom, others, aka Boomer, aka Meltdown from X-Force. So you couldn't have her. This team, they would just do ridiculous Avengers type things. They were working for an organization called Hate under the leadership of Dirk Anger, who is this sort of cigar chomping, sort of one-eyed, sort of crazy man. And they just parody Marvel stuff. I would love to see a film version where you do all this, And occasionally you get flashbacks to them doing other things, and you would insert these characters into bits that actually happened in the MCU. Such as in the series, Monica Rambeau would have flashbacks to when she was the leader of the Avengers, and everyone was really sexist to her. And horrible to her, Captain America especially. So just imagine, in Next Wave, you have her reminiscing about the time she was in the Avengers, and then you flash back to a digitally altered shot from the Avengers' first film, where she's been put in there, and then Captain America starts being sexist to her and making her leave the battle against the Chitauri or something. It would be fucking brilliant.
Why was he being sexist to her but not Black Widow?
Well, in their universe, I don't think Black Widow was in the Avengers at the time. It's just... The idea is they're parodying Captain America being sexist because they're taking the piss out of Mark Miller, who was one of the writers at the time.
Okay.
So just use it to take the piss out of the MCU. It would be wonderful.
I guess. But we're running out of time. Actually, we're not. We have all the time in the world, but, you know, who's going to sit around and listen to like a 3-hour podcast on YouTube? You would.
She's making me stop talking.
You can talk again next week. But anyway, so next week we'll have lots of fun things to talk about. I don't know if we'll have gone to see. Yes, we will.
Won't.
Yes, we will. It will be fun. You will have fun. But this has been Lesbian Talk, episode 113, honey. I have been the Omega, and who do you have one to have been this week?
Captain Marvel.
Too late for you. She was killed by Squirrel Girl last week. Anyway.